Welcome to my channel and please subscribe if you haven't done so already. And now let's get to Midnight Stories. It started with a phone call at 3:03 a.m. The screen just said, "Unknown number." Not no caller ID, not a number, just unknown. Ben almost didn't answer, but something about it made his thumb press accept. He held the phone to his ear. Silence. Then a voice, raspy hoarse, like someone with sand in their throat, whispered, "Do you remember me now?" Ben sat up in bed, heart suddenly pounding. "Who is this?" Click. Call ended. Ben lay awake the rest of the night. He worked in IT. He lived alone. He didn't have enemies. And no one had ever said that to him before. It wasn't a prank. The voice had felt wrong, like it came from someone who wasn't entirely alive. He told himself it was just a crank call. Someone with a sick sense of humor. But then the next night at 3:03 a.m., another call. Same number, unknown, and the same voice. You left me behind." Before it could say anything more, Ben slammed the phone down. He didn't answer the next call. Then the house phone rang. He hadn't even used the landline in years. The cordless receiver was sitting on the kitchen counter where he always left it after a late-night snack or to check for messages when he woke up. It must have died during the night. So he went over and picked it up, hands shaking. It was cold, the voice hissed. Closer now, slower. So cold when you closed the door. Then silence. He put the phone down. He should call the police. Tell them there was a sicko messing with him. But what would he tell them? The voice said it was cold when I closed the door. Yeah, the cops would think he was having a nervous breakdown. He unplugged the phones, turned every light on in the house, and lay in bed waiting for the sun to rise. He didn't sleep. The third night, no call came. Instead, he found his front door open. Nothing was stolen. His flat-screen TV was still mounted on the wall. His laptop was plugged in and charging on his desk. There was no sign of forced entry. Just open. The deadbolt was still in place, hadn't been tampered with. No footprints on the welcome mat, no sounds outside. His house was at the end of a long driveway in a development of 5 houses, all detached and set back from the road. Ben checked the other doors, all locked. He ran a hand through his hair. This was insane. Who would do this? Why? Then, on the welcome mat, something waited. Ben almost stepped over it. A small child's mitten. It looked old. Maybe 20 years old. It was dirty, soaked in something dark and dry. Blood. It made him gag. He looked at the mitten, then down at his own hands. They were the same size as his when he was a kid. Same width between the thumb and first finger. He slipped it on, but it was too big, like his fingers were shorter, thicker than they used to be. Or maybe the mitten had shrunk. He pulled it off. His pulse quickened. He could feel the dried blood soaking into his skin. He rushed to the sink and turned on the tap, letting the water run over his hands until they were red and raw. What was happening to him? Where was this coming from? When he lifted his head, he saw his reflection. His face looked older, fatter. The bags under his eyes seemed deeper. In the mirror, the room looked smaller, darker, as if the walls were closing in around him. He stumbled out of the bathroom and called the police. When the officer arrived, he listened to Ben's story. After Ben finished, the officer didn't say anything for a moment. "Yeah, okay. Listen, I know it sounds crazy. The voice on the phone, the blood, I know it sounds, ma'am." The officer interrupted. "This isn't the first call I've gotten like this. It happens every December." She wrote something on her notepad. "Do you have any enemies? Anyone who might want to do something like this?" "No, I mean, I work in IT. I fix people's computers. I don't have enemies. I don't know why this is happening." The officer stood up. "Listen, sir, if you get another call, you tell me right away." "Okay, but what about the door?" "We'll send someone else to look at the door." "You got it?" Yeah, thanks." He watched her leave. That day, Ben started digging through boxes in the attic, looking for photos, anything that could help him understand what was going on. He found a box of old yearbooks from high school. He opened it, but it wasn't what he was expecting. Inside was a collection of old letters tied together with a worn piece of ribbon. He sat down on the floor and carefully untied the ribbon. Each letter was addressed to him. The handwriting was beautiful, looping, swirling letters that looked like vines growing across the page. The postmarks were old, faded. Some were from faraway places like Alaska, Ireland, and California, places he'd never been, and none of them had dates. He pulled out the first letter and read the inscription on the front. "To my brother, love from your little sister." Then he opened it and began to read. "My dearest brother, Mama says you're going away soon. Will you forget me? Don't forget me. Your loving sister, Lily." The next letter was also from Lily. "My dearest brother, it's so boring here without you. Everyone treats me like a baby. I want to go see you. Love, Lily." Another letter. "My dearest brother, I can't wait for summer. We can build a tree fort and hide from everyone. Yours, Lily." Then more from Lily, and then something different. "My dearest brother, the snow is falling. I wish you were here. Love, Ben." Ben felt a chill. Who was this letter from? He flipped it over. On the back, an inscription. "To my darling brother, from your loving sister, Lily." But the handwriting wasn't Lily's. It was his. The letters continued. They spanned several years. He read through them all, his heart breaking with each one. Then the last letter stopped him cold. "My dearest brother, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. With all my love, Lily." Underneath a postscript. "I had to go. You wouldn't understand. I love you." Signed, Lily. The next day, Ben went to the lake. It was frozen, not safe for skating. No one went on it except ducks and swans. He walked out onto the ice, feeling the crunch of his boots on the frozen surface. He remembered everything. How his mum had brought them out here to skate, how she'd laughed and clapped as he wobbled along, how his brother had teased him for holding on to the little red wagon while skating, how they'd dared each other to break the ice, how Ben had won, how they'd skated out to the middle of the lake and their skates had gone through, how he and his brother had screamed and flailed, how he'd lost sight of his brother, how he'd struggled to get back to shore, how the others had searched, but not here. They thought the water was too frozen. They didn't check. They didn't find Thomas. They never did. And he hadn't told anyone he and his brother had gone skating on the lake. No one knew until now. Ben stayed by the lake a long time. As dusk fell, the temperature dropped. Ben pulled his thin jacket tighter around him. A branch cracked. He jumped. Was it just the wind? Was someone walking nearby? He couldn't hear anything. He couldn't see anything. Only the dark trees, the frozen lake, and the pale sliver of moon in the sky. 3:03 a.m. The call came again. He answered. "Why didn't you come back?" the voice asked. Ben wanted to tell her, "I tried." They didn't understand. But he couldn't. He tried to speak, to say something, but he couldn't make a sound. He heard something wet dragging across the phone's mic. Then, "I'm here now." Then the line went dead. He pressed the receiver to his chest. His heart pounded against his ribs. He had to get out of there. The next morning, Ben's neighbors found the front door wide open. No sign of Ben. The only thing inside was a pool of water by the front door and two small footprints, like a child's, leading up the stairs. They stopped in front of the bathroom mirror where something had been written in frost. "Do you remember me now?" Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this story, please remember to subscribe. New episodes are released every day. Thank you for listening.